Spooky.
Hello.
Is Spooky here right now?
Meh.
Well, welcome to another episode of Bobby's Cryptid Corner. We're so happy to be here. My name is Bree.
My name's Bobby. Sorry, Tony.
You're good. It's clockwise.
She's muted.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie,
Oink,
you're
oink.
muted.
Oh, am I?
Jamie.
You're good now.
Oh, you can hear me now?
You're
Okay, I'm
never
here.
muted.
Hello.
Hi, she's Jamie.
And-
Hi, I'm
and
Jamie.
hello. I am the swine warden, Tony, and I want to give a great big shout out to whoever is in Brisbane, Australia, downloading the shit out of our content.
Yeah, over 10,000 downloads in the past 14 days from them. They're getting it, and they're getting it hard. I don't know. How are you
Wow.
listening to us in Australia? Because I
Hard.
can't figure out what platform it is. Like, I've scoured all of them. We're also on like 500 of them. And I don't know where y'all are listening to us at, but get it. We
The only
appreciate
thing
you.
the only thing I can imagine is there's like a small weird group of people with a lot of VPNs that are switching their shit to Brisbane, Australia for some reason.
No, man. People in Australia love this shit.
Yeah, apparently Australia, aliens and
Yeah,
Bigfoots
yeah.
and cryptids are big right now.
So
Our
they-
Yowie episode did really well, and I think that has something to do with it.
That might be. Maybe that's what got them hooked in, as they were like,
That's
"Ooh,
my theory. Hey, Tony, before we get it going here, and I have to remind you halfway through the show, can you turn your volume up just a smidge, please?
Or just put it by your face.
They call me the
What?
producer. There
Yeah.
you go.
There we
Tony,
go.
Way better.
put it in
Way
your
better.
face.
Put it
Yes.
in your face.
Just
Hey.
get
Touch
right up on that mic.
Touch it to your lips.
You know what I'm
See,
thinking?
That's mic sounds great. You got to get close to it, though.
That's true. Listen, I'm thinking that the chat GPT, it said to us that Toddy Wabbit has over 100,000 listeners. And at this point, I think I believe them because I have said this multiple times. For those people that don't know, before Jamie and I even started the YouTube, like we had it, but we like would throw random things. We weren't actually putting our faces on here. We would get like 5,000 downloads just for our audio. And YouTube has always been so disappointing because we get like, I don't know, 2 listens. It feels like
basically."
and we're always just like, fuck. And then the audio side though is thriving, and it's making me happy to see that it's thriving again. And so maybe ChatGPT is like actually working and it's not lying to us. I'm
Or
kind of believing it.
ChatGPT knew it was lying and is now trying to make it look like we
Make
have
up.
that many, so it's not lying.
What
That's why it's all in Australia.
What if we are influencing the AI?
I think
Every
that's what I'm
time you
saying.
say
Exactly.
GPT, you're summoning the Antichrist.
But yes, Vanessa, all at once, we would literally per episode have like 5,000 downloads, like an episode
Yeah.
in a week.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then like next week, the next one would come out. And then we came here and we were like, the little orphans no one cared about.
Mhm.
Is that Toddy
And
Waba in
still
general?
don't.
Or?
Yeah, it's all of Toddy Waba. Although, to be fair, the
Wow.
only things that is being uploaded on the audio feed as of right now is Bobby's Cryptid Corner and Uninformed. Other than that, those are the only two things that are on there.
Well, here's the thing, too. I don't know what time it is in Australia right now, but I imagine it's not a optimal time to be
Australia?
watching a
No,
live
for
stream.
sure.
No.
But I think we have a really I'm glad we're doing the Vermont pig, and not to change the subject, but I'm glad we're doing the Vermont Pigman tonight, because it's been a while since we've done one that's wacky, wild, and horrifying.
Yeah.
The Pigman.
Yeah.
But before we
Yeah.
jump into that, let's do some early arriver shout outs. Why don't we let myself take this one? Night Gazer's here. What up? Greg O'Brien. Well. Enzo, of course. Lovely, loyal Enzo. Banassa's here. Dirty Mike. Bottled Water. That's you, Tony. Dirty
That's
Mike's
me.
there again. Hides in long grass.
This
What?
message is brought to you by the
Who
CIA.
he froze?
Bobby's never frozen before.
This
You
is
know,
a
it's
long
funny
one.
because,
We'll
yeah,
call him the new bed. of
because
the,
Danielle's like, is it just me?
chat.
Bobby, you're freezing.
You there?
Can't hear us.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, you're good.
Yeah,
now.
You're good now. You're good now.
Yeah, you're good.
I think there's just I have AT&T fiber now because you guys gave me so much shit about my internet, and that's not even hacked, I guess.
It's our
I
fault.
wish we could cover that, but like, no, we can't.
We're really
I
poor.
pay for. I know. I'm like paying
Aaron
for extra
DeSario's
video
here.
things. on
Night
Pocket.
Gazer.
Hey,
Joe
everybody.
5D and Danielle. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
I
Can
love
you
that.
hear us? Bobby, can you hear us?
Perfectly.
Okay,
Oh.
good. Because we can hear
we're
you.
okay.
We can
We're
hear you
okay.
now.
We're okay.
Peppa
And
H is here.
Hey, Peppa.
Talking shit on AT&T fiber. I'm with you.
I don't know
All
what I
right.
have.
That's funny. I get it now.
Yeah, exactly.
What's everyone?
we-
Is everyone drinking tonight? Is everyone
Yeah.
drinking tonight? I feel like we need to let's up the energy and the
Woo,
belligerence,
woo,
please.
woo, woo,
Have-
woo,
have
woo,
Sprite.
woo.
Hey,
Just
listen.
Sprite. What are you, 9?
You know
No,
what,
I'm
chat?
trying to
I want to
not-
know. I want to know if the chat, if we did a Bobby's Cryptid Corner live, would you come and watch it? And would you come
Not
drink with
doing
us in
it.
person? I'm
So it's
I'm
matter.
just asking if people would want to watch that in person.
What do
we
you
would
think?
have to do it at a bar.
Oh, where'd he go?
He'll be back.
But a bar actually is a very good idea.
But
So we-
hold
we-
on.
What?
What do you guys really think? You're going to get a bunch of answers that say no? Like, that's a dumb question. You know they're going to be like, yes, I love to.
Yeah,
They're not
that's
gonna
what
be
I'm
like,
going
no.
for.
Like, I'm,
Yeah,
oh,
that's-
no. They're
That's
not
literally
gonna-
that's the vibe I'm going for.
But they'd have to actually come. We could get drunk as fuck in Brisbane right now.
Welcome
Oh,
back,
yeah.
One and
Is there anything
Swan.
else to do in Brisbane?
No.
Apparently, we have a ton of fans in Brisbane.
Dodge
It's
spiders
just
and drink.
one very creepy dude.
Andy and Wells. Hey, Aaron.
I'm
I'm
Dirty Mike said no, he
thinking-
wouldn't.
I'm thinking we should do a ticket giveaway.
Oh, maybe that's what we should do.
That's what I'm thinking. If
So,
there's two contacts in the desert, maybe we want to do a ticket giveaway. Maybe that's something our
Ooh.
chat is interested in.
If you're interested in that, type hell yes in the chat.
And then let's think of the stipulations here. Maybe it's like a Toddy Waba questionnaire where it's like only the real people that listen to it know.
Ooh, like you have to do like a quiz, and the top
Yeah.
people who get the quiz right will like draw their name out of it or something.
Yeah, and you have to say 7 feet away from me.
What?
What?
Just
Queenie?
because. I'm not a people person. I don't fucking like people.
Oh,
What if we dress? What if they're dressed as bears?
Gary, thank you.
Gary.
Wow.
Thank you,
Hey,
Major
Gary.
Tom.
If
Good
to
if
see you,
Gary
Mom.
wants to
Thank you.
go, if
Gary,
Gary
you want
wants
to come to
go,
Contact in the Desert with us?
I'm gonna put that name down right now.
We'll put
All
that
right,
name on the list.
So let's.
Oh no, Peppa, we don't have that kind
No,
of cash.
we don't.
We're-
We don't.
we're-
have
No, oh,
that.
no,
Let's
no,
not
yeah.
push it.
Or horse.
Listen. We can't pay for you to fly there or to stay, but we might be
Super
able
chats
to hook
would
you up
help.
with a ticket. Yeah.
Just do help, but no, it's not gonna work. I mean, like I mentioned this earlier. I mean, just this intro video is a completely different video thing that I'm paying out of pocket to do, not coming out of Tadiwaba. Like we're basic. If we can't have children for this reason, that's why none of us have kids
No.
because we can't afford it.
No.
All our
literally.
money
No.
goes to Enzo and hides in long grass. They are our children.
For real.
Oh yes.
All right.
I've actually-
Hit us up in our DMs for those peeps. We got you for sure.
We
All
got
right.
you.
Yeah, Gary, I'll DM you.
Let's get into it, eh? The Pigmon.
Oh, shit,
This
you
isn't the
guys.
realistic Pigman, is it?
Obviously.
I like
No.
these new formats. These
Me
new
too, it's kinda
formats are
fun.
really good.
It's kind of fun. Ooh.
So Bria's been talking about how we should do a cryptid beer of the week, and I found one for this cryptid, so I thought, why not start it now? So the cryptid beer of the week is the Pigman Lives. It's from the Good Measure Brewing Company in Northfield, Vermont. It's an Imperial IPA at 8% alcohol by volume. I have no idea what it tastes like, but you know what? If you are into it, go and pick it up.
I'm sure I would like it.
Combining Pigman with IPA is just a recipe for a delicious brewski.
Ooh.
I
Yeah.
agree. And I love that they're true to
I
themselves,
was
that it's
being
in
sarcastic.
Northfield, Vermont. It's not like it's just some random town that decided to do it. Like the true hometown of the Pigman makes the Pigman Lives beer.
Yeah, I'm like, what is the sigil above it? Some type of ancient transcribing.
Every
It's
time
an
you
X.
Notes.
you
It
open the
invokes-
can, you're
it
opening a
invokes-
portal for another Pigman to come through.
Yes, I
Into
need
your mouth.
to. Maybe this beer actually. Thank you, Enzo. You clicked in my mind. Maybe this would be really good on like some actual like pork belly or something. Like, can we make some
Oh.
carnitas out of this? You know, we'll have to
Happy
think about
Cinco de
that.
Mayo from
And
the
yes,
Pigman.
We need to actually remember that I do want to do the Cryptid beer tour. So let's put that on our calendar, folks. Since we're 5 years ahead now, Jamie, and
Yes.
planning. Let's put
Yes.
that in there.
I'm into it.
Any good cryptid has its own beer. Let's just put that out there.
Exactly.
now.
I agree.
It's pretty much the truth. All right. Oh no, it's covered from StreamYard. Okay, so this cryptid, the stats here, obviously half pig, half man, but it is the body of a man, but with this monstrous pig-like face. Possibly a feral human that's kind of morphed or have become a hybrid. We will touch base on that later. Almost 6 feet tall. I say that because the counts vary, but it's always just under 6 feet.
Mm.
Stands on its 2 feet, so obviously it's bipedal, and has been seen in a very famous account to be covered, well, obviously naked, but covered head to toe in white fur.
Sexy.
I'm already just getting so excited here.
Wow.
Had cloven hoofs and extremely violent. This is maybe the most violent cryptid that we've come across. I think in all of the
do not
accounts.
approach.
Yeah, like
We-
do not.
I don't think we've ever had a cryptid that's like described as extremely violent.
This is extremely violent. Like
This
this
the
is
one.
not. This isn't the one that wants to be like cuddled, like a cute little pygmy pig. Like this isn't a cute little miniature dude you want to take home and go, this
Right.
is not the one.
It's kind of like a pit bull around a 7-year-old.
Well, it's kind of like a wild pig, which I think the game warden Tony may be able to speak to at some point.
Oops.
Pigs are cute and domesticatable. Is that a word? Domesticatable?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're as smart as
Hands.
dogs, right? I'm not trying to take your spotlight here, Tony. I'm just riffing here. They're smart as dogs. My wife won't eat pork anymore because she found that out. And it's very inconvenient for the household because this is a pork.
Not even
household.
bacon?
No.
Wait, why?
sticking to her
Say that
guns.
again. Why is it? Why is it?
Because they're smart as
Because
dogs.
she read some article about how smart they are, and she's just like, "No, I'm good." And I'm
Pigs
like,
are really
"All right,
smart.
well, I think that pork is one of the most underrated of all the food groups." Anyway, but in the wild, pigs are known to, they grow the tusks out. They grow that long billowy hair. Is it billowy? Is that the word?
Yes.
And they're incredibly aggressive. Here in Texas, it's hunting hog season all year round because we have such a problem with feral pigs. And I say, bring it on, piggy. Anyway, that's all I got.
I love it.
So does everybody want to? So I'll do the game warden thing real quick. Does everybody know the difference between a feral hog and a domesticated hog?
Yes.
What is it?
Their DNA.
Did I not just
One
explain that?
is feral and it's
One
in
is
the
cute,
woods.
cuddly.
Domesticated, we can bring it home.
No, the actual legal definition between a feral hog and a domesticated hog is on what side of the fence it is on.
Well, the fuck?
I don't know what that
Because
means.
once they get on outside of their, like if you're a
Dilma.
hog farmer or a hog rancher or whatever, once the hog gets outside of the fence and is wild, like they become wild incredibly quick. It's insane.
Okay, I get what
How
you're saying.
fast they turn from like you could have a cat and it goes outside and runs away and like in 3 or 4 months it's a feral cat. Hogs do it in like 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, that's super
That's
interesting
weird.
because I was just reading or listening to something recently about how, like, they say we only use like 10% of our genome, but like the other 90% is just things that can switch on and off given the situation. And it happens super quickly. Like it's just an adaptation mutation that happens like pretty much immediately as, it's needed. So I think pigs are the shining star, delicious example of exactly that.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
could we be the
The
same?
meat tastes way different too.
It does.
Could we be the same then? Like maybe we're obviously domesticated. Well, some of us.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you
But
look at
in
just the idea of
circumstances-
cryptids in general, look at like Bigfoots. Let's say it's the hybrid theory. What if it's just, it's an offshoot of the human hominid that evolved differently in the woods, or just turned on some of those genetic attributes, because stuff that we don't need. But if we were all like, if the whole civilization was to collapse and we were all like forced to go live out in the wilderness, those of us that survived over a relatively short period of time, I'd argue like everyone would grow more hair, like you'd get a little more your sense of smell would probably increase. You get calluses on your feet.
Well, I think that's the idea of evolution,
You'd
is
be
it
able
not?
to travel through portals. It'd be fucking awesome.
No, this is crazy that you say that, because I just started a show on Showtime called Yellow Jackets. And it is about a group of girls who are in a soccer team who are flying to do nationals. We don't know the full story, but even first episode, it starts off with like a flash of obviously the future. And they are in the wilderness and snow and these crazy fucking outfits, like horns, everything. And you do see someone get murdered who's also a female. And so you get the point that they're some type of hierarchy must have evolved, eating, cannibalism going on. And then you learn that it's only like 2 years that they're gone. So it's interesting that you mentioned that, because I always thought, like, could you really switch off that quick? But maybe it is in our DNA that we have that instinct survival skill that is easy to just like click out of expecting a Starbucks and ready to just like munch on a squirrel or your best friend.
If you're lucky. If you're lucky, that switches on. Like,
so
I
I'm going to
think
give.
just
Go ahead, Bobby.
I was just going to say, I think the situation, just because the situation can, I'm no geneticist, obviously, but like, I think the situation over time can definitely trigger some of those, genetic on switches, but also the situation, like in the short term, like some people are going to be inherently more equipped to like just adapt consciously, and other people are just going to freak out and be a total burden on the tribe or whatever. Or
and those are the ones that are probably going to be the
Gonna get eaten.
appetizer first.
Yeah.
Like you're unsettling the group here. It's easy to think from our perspective, like, oh, I would never do that. Even when I watch it, sometimes I'm like, I would never do that. And then I think about, imagine how cranky you get when you're hungry and you're obviously haven't starved for that long. If you're in the middle of nowhere and you have nothing that is even remotely close to what your life is usually like, you're so far away from civilization. I think that also adds to it. And it probably just switches on your like inner scavenger savage.
We're like super vulnerable to compromising like our morals in desperate situations. So like there's a murderer that lives inside of all of us given the right circumstances.
I couldn't agree
so
with you more.
Scary.
Yeah,
That is really
party
creepy
of
to think
five.
about. I don't
But
like
it's true.
But
I don't like that.
So I'm gonna give like a little preview as to my conclusion to this is pigs are used, especially pig fetuses are compared to human fetuses up until a very late stage of development because they look exactly the same. And I'm not going to give away
Well,
my
you just
fact or
emphasize.
fiction, but I'm just saying that there's the genetic the genetic correlation.
Similarities.
Yeah, the similarities, the correlation between how quickly pigs can go feral, how quickly people can go feral, depending on. I'm just saying, we have a lot more in common.
Well, I mean, we did. What's her name? That the monkey lady of Russia
New
or whatever.
Delhi?
What was that?
Ryla?
No, yeah, maybe I don't know.
No, it was the one that got shut down and then it got brought back up.
Yeah, and I mean, we could do a whole episode on just like feral children and how like they're like you cannot like rehabilitate them most of the time back into, civilization once you like it's good luck with that shit. But
it's like trying to break a dog and teach it to write.
Right, like they don't need to know how to do that. It's all formative. They learn everything they need to know to survive, like in the first like 3 years of your life, and then it kind of shuts off. That's why kids are so like open to like you should, if you're going to teach your kid a second language, teach them when they're like 2 or 3 years old. It's that kind of thing
for sure.
I mean, think about what happens to people that go to the war and try to come back. That's enough of a struggle. And it's another thing to think of being like in the middle of nowhere and having to eat people or like scavenge for your food or just eat dirt, weird shit, I would be the one that like eats the mushrooms or something. I already know. I'd be like,
you could be the beef eater.
It's like they probably end up killing you first.
If I'm delusional, have at it.
Fuck it.
You know what I'm saying? All right, let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
So I have a feeling like this cryptid is going to have us going back and forth between either a humanoid-ish mix of a pig man, where it's actually like a man that has the body of a pig, like you have the snout, you have the eyes, like it's actually a part of you, or if this is a man that puts on a pig face.
Yes.
Nasty.
Yeah, this is like a total... Like the sky's the limit with factor sci-fi. Like if you want to go the sci-fi route, even if you want to go the fact route, there's so many different places you could go.
For sure.
The sci-fi route, there's so many different places you go because this is the junction of urban legend, the kind of slasher stalker archetype. This is kind of like a Cropsey legend of the area.
A little bit.
And then you have cryptids, you have bestiality, you have demonic possession. you have misidentification. Like this one just runs the gamut, and I'm really, really excited to talk about it. So I'm going to stop talking and let you continue, Bree.
I
All right,
will
let's
say
go,
that
yeah.
I am the very half and half kind of person on this.
You're a middle bitch?
Yeah, a little bit. Okay, so yeah, this was on Monsters and Mysteries in America.
Which
Their
is a
picture?
fantastic show.
Their picture of this pigman is quite different.
Very.
Like I didn't even know it was a pig until I zoomed in really close to its face and was like, oh, okay, I can see the snout. Very scary. But I wish I could have seen this, but I could not. I should have checked something else. Okay, whatever. I looked for it.
Always
Anyway,
behind paywalls.
always. The location here is in Northfield, Vermont, in this little lovely area here. And it is known to roam the fields and the forest in this area. It's very interesting to think that it's just like this very tiny state in the upper East Coast. And it is also surrounded by New Hampshire and New York and Maine. And I think that there's a lot of blood spill, particularly in that area, just from when the Brits came over. Well, when we originally came over to America. So I always try to look at things, and I think you guys all know this. I think we all do it too. Is we try to look at the bigger picture of things sometimes, especially when it comes to the land, like what's previously been there, what marks the land, what then sets the stage for what can carry on. And that was the first thing that came to my mind, was there was obviously a lot of bloodshed in this entire area. I mean, this is a really small state. Think of this compared to California. Like, this is like just the area I live in.
It's like one town, yeah.
Like, seriously, you could take that and put it over here. The Bay Area is bigger than that. So to me, that's just like wild. Because there are other things that happen in Vermont that we're not going to talk about, but it is maybe we will eventually, but it is definitely a hot spot for ghosts and a few other cryptids.
Mm-hmm.
Monsters and mysteries.
Hey.
For show. This story really originates and is sort of localized around this one area called the Devil's Wash Bowl. This is a forest-like area, the Devil's Wash Bowl, but it is basically the forest land that lines the Wash Bowl area in particular. And the Wash Bowl is a single lane dirt road, and it connects the towns of Moortown and Northfield. And this is this very small route where the pigman is often seen. Very localized, like it's really just between these two towns and those areas. Although you guys probably know that there are other pigman stories that have sprinkled around the states, but just for the Vermont version of the pigman, this is like, I think of it as like the alleyway. This is like the pigman alley. So we have the Devil's Wash Bowl, this whole, like, on both sides, this creepy forest, and then you have this one lane dirt road. That doesn't sound creepy enough. And in the town of Northfield, Vermont, in 2000, there was under 6,000 people there. That to me is just fucking wild,
It's not a
considering
lot.
I live in a small town and we're 60 plus thousand people.
Bree, I live in a
You-
small town and we are 3,000 people.
I know. I still haven't fully digested that information yet, Tony. I'm still having to
You're still working on
integrate
that?
Yeah, I'm
Mhm.
integrating it still. It's very strange to me because I consider that I'm in a small town, and to think of like 60,000 people, this is a small town if it's under 6,000 people. And 95.47% were white. Good. I just thought maybe you guys would want to know that.
Hmm.
I don't know if it has anything to necessarily do with the story, but you never know. So I'm just like imagining this road late at night. I mean, like this one that's not even a fucking road. Like, what is happening here? It's just so creepy.
It's
And the
forest.
No,
Yeah.
it's beyond forest. It's like no one lives here foresty. There are over 24 cave systems in Vermont, actually, which I
It's
thought was
always
very
the
interesting.
caves.
It's always the caves.
Yes. And the Washbowl Forest area, it is assumed that the pigman does hide in these caves. I came across so many photos and videos of people that are going through these caves. A lot of them are like hardcore splunking and actually blocked off for like white nose syndrome. Like I saw crazy photos of people where they're just their feet, so they probably died. That's very common.
That's
for
seriously the most
people-
horrifying hobby I can think of.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like, I am not interested. No way.
And just
I'm
for
also like
hours going deep
6'6",
into the earth.
250, so I don't know. Like,
You
that
don't fit in a
whole
small space.
you're fucking nuts. I'd rather like traverse like mountains or like
Yeah, on the
climb
outside.
cliffs or
Yeah.
something. You know, at
Yeah,
least you
it
can.
is.
Who's gonna save
lay
you
down.
underground? Nobody. Like who? It's
Oh,
not like the
no.
rescue
Yeah.
team's gonna come after you. Like you're fucked if that happens.
Unless you're
There-
like one of those soccer teams from Indonesia or whatever it was.
There,
Oh, yeah,
there's
yeah,
just there's something very terrifying about caves and about going into caves, and then
Hmm.
the fact that there's just so many videos that are not like from channels that are paranormal channels or anything like that, that they go into caves and they just have the weirdest experiences where it's like, okay, hold on, what's actually going on there? What's causing this?
We don't know what lives there. We don't know what's under
I think
that
about
ground.
this too, like if you want to subscribe to the whole like cave system / hollow earth explanation
I
of these kind
do.
of things, which I think there's something to it,
I
whether
agree.
it be supernatural or something, something
Both.
natural, but like, or like even like the Hopkinsville goblins and stuff like that, the Mammoth Cave system. Like, think about all the animals that live underwater, like amphibious animals that just like come up at night and you only see them at night. Like, why not a similar situation with like cave systems? Like, let's say they feed off the foliage on the surface at night when they're less easily detected, but then during the day they scurry back into their little cave systems. Like,
I was
why
gonna
is
say
that
the
out of the realm of
scurrying.
possibility? Like, that's completely plausible as to why we have not seen some of these things like on a regular basis or
Well,
documented them,
absolutely.
something like that.
Yeah.
It's like the best place to hide, and there's so many of them. Like this picture in particular really creeped me out, the corner one, because it's a very large angle if you look at the whole photo, including this one down here. I mean, you would just be walking across like along the forest in the middle of fucking nowhere, and all of a sudden in the ground there's this huge hole, and it's only like the really brave people that want to go in there. But I mean, there's so much that we can't even get by without dying. So imagine if you're accustomed to the way that the caves were built, or if you had the type of body built that could,
Like a
let you like
pigman?
maneuver
Yeah.
through.
Or
It is
even
very crazy.
think about like before we had the tools and whatnots to like build, basically a house is a artificial cave. Like,
For sure.
Yeah.
so think about like if like early humans or early types of humans, like some of us, yes, like we're more comfortable out on the surface, and eventually, if you're Terrence McKenna, you ate the mushrooms and you learned intelligence and built tools and sort of. But some people like I think that like the human spirit, like some people are going to stay in those caves, adapt in the caves, explore the caves, learn how to live in the caves. It's safer in the caves. There's less predators down there potentially. And then I think there's argument for like entire ecosystems for people to like live down there.
Yeah, and
So
there
who's
has
to
been
say
in the
those
past.
early humans that settled in caves, part of us came up here and
Yeah.
built houses and huts and whatnot, and then another half of us decided to stick around down there because that's what we knew best. We knew it was safe and we knew how to live down there.
Well, yeah, there's even ancient people who built, their houses into the sides of mountains and stuff and carved into it. And I would assume that they originally got this idea from being in caves or underground, or else why would you be doing something like
Mesa
that?
Verde
They were
is like
exactly. They're
mind-blowing.
literally mimicking it. So of course, like that comes from our ancestors. And I think that it's also just part of like human nature to seek shelter, and that is of that time without being able to build or do things. That is the shelter that you're looking for.
And even not Göbekli Tepe, what's the place that's like down the way from it? I can't think of the name of it, but that's even more mind-blowing than Göbekli Tepe. It's like this cavern, these like network of caverns that are artificial that people are like, we don't know how they built this, but they could sustain like a population of something like 30,000 people or something
under there.
Older than Göbekli
there were like air shafts
Tepe.
and the whole 9 yards. It's so crazy.
I don't think older, just more exciting.
Yeah, it's I know what you're talking about. I can't remember exactly where it is right now.
It's in Turkey. It's near Göbekli Tepe. I can't think of the name of it though. It's always talked about with Göbekli Tepe. It's always like the next thing they talk about. So anyway, caves
I don't know,
fun.
man. Caves are their own enigma, and I think that anytime a cave is involved when we talk about these cryptid, I'm automatically like, yep. Oh, here we go. Enzo always
Cave of the
quick
Gap
with the
theory.
Answers.
There we
Is
go.
that it?
Darren
Kuyu.
Drink to that, please.
Drink to that. However, that said,
that's a bucket list for me.
I'd
probably freak out and have a panic attack of claustrophobia down there.
Yeah, a lot of these caves are known to be ancient caves. I don't even know what the hell it means to be like, it's ancient. These are ancient caves, but they're ancient caves. And just a ton of them. And to think that this one place, it's like one thing to think like, oh, there's just like pigman running around the fields. No, this is like a very deep forest, and there's a shit ton of caves, and people say he's all up in the caves. And I'm like, okay, well, plenty of reason for me to believe that shit.
Yeah, believable.
Hardcore. Like even with the Hopkinsville monsters, goblins, at first I was like, hell no. And then learning about the cave system, learning about mammoth, learning about how huge mammoth is, learning about how all the different minerals that make up mammoth, and the fact that we don't even know how deep it goes. Like, we're just like, oh, we've gone this far without dying, and so we're like, let's stop. We don't know how deep it goes. I truly believe that mammoth must have some type of link access point to other caves throughout the US. I wholeheartedly believe it's a full-on system that could be found leading into the inner earth. I'm 100% on board with that.
Can you I'm sharing a link in the private chat right now. Can you just share that real quick? This was found, I want to say, pretty recently in Vietnam. Yeah, the Sun Dung cave. It has its own rainforest.
Yeah.
I've seen pictures of this. Absolutely, it's beautiful.
Yeah, they accidentally discovered it 30 years ago.
Yeah, and it's thousands and thousands of years old.
Dude, this is this mind-blowing.
That's why when people say that there's like the theory that there's like land and stuff under the ice in Antarctica, this is the stuff that makes me believe it, because this is the kind of stuff that's existing.
Look how tiny this person is. You guys can barely even see him.
Literally so small,
tiny. And it's fucking fantastic looking.
Do you guys want to know a crazy fucking fact? The Appalachian Mountains have existed since Pangea.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's an ancient cave system, I would argue.
There's scientific evidence of it, like the way that the mountains and stuff are, that they were all together once.
It's literally existed since the time that dinosaurs were walking around the earth. We have no idea what is in these caves.
Obsessed already. All right, so let's get back to the piggy wiggy. So the legend of the pigman stems from this very small town in Vermont. When we are talking about just the Vermont pigman, it's just this one small area. I said earlier in the Devil's Wash. What's it called? the wash
bowl.
Wash bowl.
wash bowl.
Wash
I
bowl.
almost said wash pan. The Devil's Wash Bowl from Moortown to Northfield. There are many versions of the story that say that the Pigman would kidnap people. He would harm anyone that came in his path. But there are definitely claims that he could just be a mischievous and playful character. But I sort of feel like the answer that it's just a cautionary tale is kind of out of the picture here, in my own personal opinion. That it's not just to keep people out of the woods, because there are so many locals that swear that they have seen the Pigman with their own eyes. And also, I don't know what it is, but it clicked in my head today how stupid it is to always think that we think of these stories to just keep kids out of the woods, when we know that kids are just little pieces of shit. Even myself. We're enticed. We're enticed to go where there's danger. Like, you tell us, like, don't go
Yeah, and as a
here.
parent, you're
It's
supposed to be like,
dangerous.
yo,
We're like,
we're not supposed to
hell
let
yeah,
you do that.
I'm gonna go. Like, think about it. That's like the one thing kids want to do, is find that place they're not supposed to go, where there's dangerous. There's like an evil bad person or evil bad creature. That's where you're gonna go. So I'm kind of just like kicking all of these little cautionary tales out of the picture, because it never works. It's never a thing. We say it's a thing, but it's not. Like, we're going to go because of that cautionary tale.
Some personalities would, for sure. Like, it's
Like,
it's
who
like it's kind of like
wouldn't?
that thing. Well, I mean, I think cautionary tales are a product of survival, to like make sure your offspring doesn't go out and do stupid shit, because we are inclined to be naturally curious, and we are inclined to kind of rebel and establish our own autonomy at a young age. And, you know, well, I'm the guy that's like, you're not allowed to read this book. I'm like, that's the first book I'm going to go read, you know?
Right.
Or like the kid
Exactly,
that,
yeah.
was real sober and never really partied in high school, then they get to college and just go nuts, you know, that
Yeah,
kind
right?
of thing.
For sure.
Where they're like, if it just depends on the personality of the person. Like, if you're repressed, or like if your parents are super strict and keep you sheltered, there's like a balance there. So like, you look at, and don't quote me on this, but there's like, I want to say there's like way less alcohol poisoning in Europe, because kids don't go to college and just like drink themselves to death nearly as often.
No,
because
they
it's
start
just
drinking when they're like
drinking's
16.
a
Yeah.
more acceptable thing you learn how to do at a younger
I believe
age.
it.
Yeah.
I fucking believe it. And it's, again, because these cautionary tales, you know, like, as adults, they add on so much extra bullshit. Maybe it's true, but it's just the way maybe they tell kids. I don't know, but I just think it's so funny, because we're always like, oh no, you can't go to the haunted schoolhouse. There's evil witch waiting for you.
Yeah, but
Then
if
you're
you have like an
ooh, let's
actual,
go to the schoolhouse.
Well, I know, like,
if
me
you
and
have
Bree
like an
growing up, the town
actual
that we
child molester down the street, you're gonna be like, hey kids, seriously, don't
stay away from that.
don't
Yeah.
But,
fucking
like,
go over there.
Me and Bree growing up, we had like two things in our town. It was a haunted schoolhouse, and then the albino road. That was like our town's like legends, and everyone
Hicks Road.
Hicks Road, and literally everyone has a story about it. Like, you couldn't go somewhere where someone didn't have a story about one of those two things. Like, it was like, and no one outside of the town knows about it. I think I remember one time I found a really random small article about it online, but like, no one knows that outside of that area, but everyone's fucking been there to try to see what's going on.
Ooh,
Exactly.
can we put a pin in this idea? Can we do an episode of each of our hometowns' local legends?
Oh
and
yeah,
locations for Halloween or
absolutely.
something?
Genius.
For Halloween,
Before I
love
forget
it.
about
Yes.
it, I want to get it on
Yes.
record.
Yes. Wait, before we could go on, technically, if none of us are doing anything Halloween night, it is on a Tuesday, and we could all do that on Halloween on a Tuesday for Bobby.
Yeah,
That's
totally.
cool. That's
Oh
cool.
yeah, I hate people. I'm not handing out candy.
All right,
I
I'm
don't do
down.
Halloween past after the trick or treaters are gone. I'm done.
All right,
I
I
down.
just
I'll put it on
want
the
to
schedule.
say,
That's in
that
like 8
Bobby,
months.
you definitely touched on something important. I think that going forward, for if there's parents that listen to this, bless y'all kids. But I think the best cautionary tale for sure is to be like, there's a pedophile down there.
It's
Like,
the
no
only
Yeah,
good
just
one.
be
Yeah.
straight with these
scary,
kids.
like,
You
just
don't want to
tell
like
them
make.
there's,
To your
you know,
point, Bree,
Billy
you don't
Bob
want to
wants to
you don't want to
get the
make it
dick.
some mysterious curiosity that's gonna like make kids want to go check it out. You're gonna be like, no,
Mhm.
seriously, that guy over there is like a sexual deviant and will murder you in his basement, and it's not cool to go mess with that guy's house. Like just
You
be honest
know,
with him, I guess.
I think
Mhm.
it's hilarious that you mentioned this because one information that really actually stuck in my head when I was looking at the census for Northfield was that they had only 10 registered sex offenders. So that's like pretty good compared to the rest of the world in America, you know what I mean? So there
I
you go.
mean, registered is the key word there. Like, how strict are
Mhm.
they about
Just saying.
registering?
Just
Yeah,
saying.
still pretty good odds there, I guess.
Yeah.
All
Anyway,
right.
next week we're going to be doing pedophiles on Bobby's Cryptid Corner. Fact, they're real. And now on to the Royals.
Now the DOJ wants to talk to us.
Mm. Okay. That
Take it
must
away,
have
Bobby.
started.
This kicks it off.
Okay, let's talk about we're not talking about everyone's favorite neo-atheist child murdering apologist, Sam Harris here. We're talking about another Sam Harris. This is around 1951 in Northfield, Vermont. This is kind of like the origin of the Pigman, and what really like kicks off the, I would call, the urban legend part of this cryptid. So this is also known as the Pigman of Northfield, or the Devil's Wash Bowl monster. So in 1951, October 30th, speaking of Halloween, the night before Halloween, that's what was known as Picket Night. And that's the night where, like, there's other names for it as well. I can't remember. Like, it's the night that you really go out, the night before Halloween back in the
All
day, when you go
sinners,
and like,
whatever. Yeah.
Devil's
where you
Night.
go like,
Devil's Night. Yeah.
yeah, where you actually go out and cause mischief and TP houses and egg people, or just, it's like the purge, like basically for children.
Yeah.
Back before TikTok, which I think we
Mhm.
should probably bring this back.
Mhm.
Just let them get it out of their system, kind of thing.
I agree.
So this kid, Sam Harris, 17 years old, prime age for taking advantage of Picket Night. He goes out and gets into some mischief and never returns home. He goes missing. They send out a search party that lasted weeks, involving hundreds of locals over hundreds of square miles. They never found this kid. Since then, relatively the same time, there's been sightings or accounts of what is known as the Pigman of Northfield, which is described as like covered in white hair with like a pig's head, basically. And it's known to like slaughter pigs, eat their entrails. It hollows out the pig's head and basically wears it like a helmet, and then runs around like terrorizing people of New England. And supposedly, and there's actually a pig farm nearby, where he's said to kind of live in that area, and supposedly still haunts those surrounding areas of the Devil's Wash Bowl. And other rumors suggest that he lies with the pigs, and gets frisky with the pigs, and maybe has some I don't know if this is scientifically possible personally, but apparently there are some hybrid bestiality situations, things like that. But the thread that I couldn't find here is like, other than how did I describe it? Converging events. Like, other than this happening and then that happening, that doesn't mean they're the same thing, but it happens to be like, I guess, around the same time, where they're like, oh, that pig guy must be that kid. But it's like,
Mhm.
and this is how these legends kind of get started. I'm like, this is kind of an explanation, but it's not, because there's so much like empty space between this, connecting this missing child with the pig man. But nonetheless, I think this is just one example of how like local lore and urban legends get started. Is we have this unexplained disappearance, and then we have these unexplained accounts with this pig man. They must somehow be related one way or other. And then we have people speculating about demonic possession and like I said, bestiality, and all kinds of different explanations. But it's one of those things that's like, again, I don't know how they're really provably connected. They just happen to kind of happen around the same time. So one of the big and stop me, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys are getting into this, but one of the big tales from this time was there was a group of teenagers.
Yeah,
hanging
I'm
out
getting
in the
into
sand
it.
pit. All right, I'll shut my mouth then.
Yeah, we're getting into it. Don't worry.
And then the farmer and all that. So
Yeah,
this is the origin. Is this kid goes missing? They send out a search party, and then for whatever reason, they decide to tie this missing child to this weird, anomalous, creepy pig creature.
Well,
I
because
think
there's all of these stories that he, was working at the Beans pig farm, and that is like the one pig farm that was there in town, and that
There
he
you go, yeah.
possibly have been mistreating some of the pigs, maybe being way too aggressive with them, and maybe it became like a payback
But that karmatic
situation.
thing.
For sure. Maybe he did something to the pigs, and like you said, you disembowel them, you put on the head, and then maybe
And potentially had intercourse with
morphed,
them.
right,
That
some
too.
bestiality. I don't think that's far off. I think
that kind of stuff, like even when, let me get super metaphysical with you guys for a minute. I think this is the right place, but I really think that kind of, it's almost like MK Ultra abuse type stuff. Like even when you're abusing animals on that level, you're like bringing in dark entities potentially,
For sure.
right?
For
Even
sure.
on like if you're that deviant and deranged to like abuse animals and then potentially various types of abuse, you are welcoming in like darkness, entities themselves,
hardcore.
and perhaps if we are giving credence to this pig man is the story of Sam Harris's, missing, maybe there's something there. I don't want to besmirch the name of Sam Harris. I'm just speculating.
I know, poor Sam Harris, because if he really was an innocent kid that went missing, I mean, he was never found there. I mean, in any investigation, his body was never found, or foul play was never found. And it would suck that there is all of these negative stories that went towards your way, Sam. But I mean, like the whole picket night thing, that he would do these crazy animal sacrifices with his pigs to invoke the devil. And then of course, could that have been amplified because it's the
Wait, did you read that
devil's
somewhere?
wash? Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Because it's
I didn't catch that.
the devil's wash bowl. Who knows? Maybe he was inspired by that.
Or
those things.
or maybe he was just slaughtering pigs at night, and somebody happened to view him doing his job at nighttime, and they twisted and turned it into a way to be like he's out there sacrificing animals, and that's how this whole thing got started. I feel like
either way, I think there's still a karmic
for sure
reaction there. I think if you are, whether or not like I eat meat, you guys, it's just, if you were to take a life, that is regardless a type of karmic connection. That's just how karma works. It doesn't matter if we think about it as good or bad. If you do something like that, you are accruing karma. That's all it is. It's give and take. So if you are someone in that situation and you are constantly doing that, there is
there's neutral karma.
There is a possibility.
If you're doing it like for your own pleasure beyond just eating or something like that,
predator and prey.
But it doesn't matter. You're still accruing the karma
I
for
agree.
the life. So
but I think it's different levels of karma.
The negative karma comes from your intent with the action in and of itself, I think.
There's a big difference between hunting for sport and hunting for food.
Or killing for pleasure, or killing for...
Yeah, and I think
it would be amplified, but regardless, you are still in karmic debt for the life.
But it's also interesting to note that Sam's case happened 2 years before the CIA admitted to MK Ultra existing.
Oh.
Yeah, and I'm not suggesting this is some sort of a weird offshoot precursor to MK Ultra or something like that. I'm just saying there might be some parallels with that phenomenon here.
Yeah.
Again, just throwing shit at the wall. I don't know.
Where is he? Like, why did is there a possibility that no one even followed up because the town believed these stories? Like, what if the town just believed these crazy rumors and then we're just like, well, fuck it. Sam's gone. He's now the pig man. We're not going to look for him
Right,
anymore.
and-
I
Like,
think that's
what if he's
1,000% what
innocent?
happened. I think that what
Mhm.
happened with this particular kind of like story is that it was taken out of proportion and the rumors mills around town started, and now we have the story that came out of it. And I don't think
The
anyone
origin
ever.
story. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go for it.
The origin story inherently has a night of mischief in it.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess my point in bringing that up is like, if this snowballs into some sort of local urban legend, what is that? And you have the mischievous element to it, you're going to probably have some silly kids, evoking the spirit or whatever, not literally, but you know what I mean? Like
Fucking
Yeah.
around.
playing up that role on mischievous Halloween time nights where you go get a pig head from the butcher shop and run around and scare people.
Just no
That's not
idea.
yeah.
For sure.
Just
Mhm.
literally playing in the devil's sandbox.
In the devil's wash bowl.
The Devil's Sandbox.
Wash
Well,
box.
'cause-
Starring Christopher
Wash bowl.
Lee.
It's where he washes his stinky toes.
Peter Cushing.
Sandbox. Listen, Sandbox is coming up. So that's why I'll say that. Anyway, if he really did become the pig, could you imagine? So, like, again, we think of this idea of karma, and I think of like the pig that has been constrained its whole life in this situation, and then being embodied by a human and being able to take the force of a human and like what that would look like. And this picture to me is the absolute epitome of that type of rage and just the want for payback, retaliation, just vengeance at its core.
And what a great, animal archetype to evoke in this legend, because the history of like our relationship with pigs, we kind of alluded to it earlier. It's like they're
Fucks.
we call it's a negative connotation, right? Like we call people that are like overindulgent or like just
Pigs,
gross
yeah.
and floppy and just pure impulsive hedonism. They're just pigs, and then like we mentioned earlier, like what's interesting, they can kind of morph between these domesticated, cute, smart little animals and then transform pretty quickly into a very aggressive, horrifying, delicious animal as well.
Oh
But
my God.
we also have the ultimate love-hate relationship with pigs, because we can use pig as like an insult and be like, oh, that person's a pig, that person's gross and everything, and at the same time eat a fucking double bacon cheeseburger and
Yeah.
be like, oh, that person is 300 pounds is a pig while you're eating pig. It's one of the weirdest.
Well, pigs are cannibals too.
Yes they are.
Regardless, there's like some type
They'll
of
eat
weird
anything.
murder thing going on. I don't know.
I mean,
But
this is the. Sorry, go ahead, Tony.
It's one of the weirdest things when I look at the animal kingdom is our relationship with pigs in their kind of relationship genetically with humans. When you really look into it, just how close we are, because we all think we're apes. We're dumb fucking apes running around doing stupid shit.
Apes are smart.
You'd be surprised the genetic code that we have and the medicines that they test on pigs before they test on people, because pigs are so genetically similar to people. It blows my mind. It's so weird to look at.
Tony, in
Yes.
10 years, could evolution possibly be rewritten that we evolved from pigs?
I think
Reaching? It's a
I
reaching
think that we
possibility?
evolved from monkeys is a bit of a stretch myself, but that's.
That's probably a really good possibility, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but I just don't think that we're going to be in a situation in 10 years where we can make those scientific discoveries.
Ooh, so we're
For
getting
different
dumber.
reasons.
Yikes.
And then
okay.
the other thing I just wanted to bring up quickly, like this is the creature. The trope is like if you want to get rid of a body, you throw it to the pigs, and there's no more evidence because they even eat the bones and everything.
Does
They eat
everybody?
bones?
Yeah.
Oh shit! I had no.
Does
fucking-
everybody know? Does everybody know what long pork is?
Is it the schlong?
Do I
of the
want to
pork?
know?
The pork schlong? Long
so
pork.
long.
I think I saw
long
that movie
pork.
once.
Did you have to rent it?
It was a
What?
it was a tantric
You-
sex movie. Long
So-
pork,
I love it. I love it.
starring
Long
Sting and
pork
his wife.
is a
would rent that.
pseudonym that was created to say human flesh.
Whoa.
So
All
if
right.
you watch the Pirates of the Caribbean, I think it's the second movie where Jack Sparrow is captured by the cannibals, and the guy says, "I don't know about the ship with the black sails, but I know of an island where they trade in long pork." They're cannibals. What do you think they're trading in?
I got it. Oh wow.
So long pork was what they would call human flesh. So there's a lot of synonyms with humans and pork, pigs, and the taste, and it's kind of scary actually.
This is like more fucked up of an episode than I thought it would be.
Then
Not
you
fucked
realized,
up,
yeah.
but more entwined. Like there's a lot of things going on that I
Mhm.
really didn't think that we would be discussing, and it's quite pleasing to be honest. I'm very happy.
I'm so hungry and horny. What?
Ooh.
I don't know what
Alright.
that means.
So outside of just people personally having experiences with the pigman, this is the first big sighting that kind of got everyone on board. And this took place in 1971. A farmer in Northfield, Vermont, went to investigate some strange noises coming from his backyard one night. And he turned on his outside lights and peered out of his kitchen window. And what did he see? He thought he was like, ooh, maybe a raccoon, something like that. No. It was instead he met the gaze of a man-sized figure lurking along the edges of his yellow light. His body was covered with white hair and he had a facial features of a pig. So this really was like, okay, wait, what's going on? Everybody's ears got perked up. People like went like this was like a big story. People wanted to go and investigate it. They really wanted to see what was going on. Now, a few days later, we have the next sighting. And it's what Bobby said earlier. A group of teenagers had an encounter with the creature. They had been drinking beer in a sand pit behind the school when something strange came out of the woods. It was tall, naked, and covered in white hair. Although it walked on two legs, it had the face of a pig. Whatever it was, it scared the living shit out of the kids, and they ran as fast as they could back to the school. And there's like a bunch of people like who witnessed all of them running back into this dance that was going on at the school.
Yeah, these
after-
aren't like young kids.
No, these are like teenagers.
They were
These
like,
are like
older high school kids. Yeah.
exactly
Like prom.
Exactly. And so they went back out to go investigate after the kids ran back in. And they didn't see the monster, but they did find that the grass and the underbrush of the area had been like tampered down. So there definitely was something that was there. And they saw that, like, they were like, okay, yeah, something big was walking here. And then
I look just like that naked. I just want everyone to know.
I love that. The next one is
I just saw the picture.
a lone driver,
Thanks, Bree.
right?
I was like, oh,
Alone-
cool. Let me see. Oh, word.
All right. A lone driver was startled while driving by Devil's Wash Bowl when a figure raced from the roadside bushes and leaped onto the hood of the car. Their eyes met and the creature vaulted off the car and back into the bushes. The driver reported that it looked like a man, a naked man, with light-colored hair all over its body and a hideous pig-like face. So as you can see, all of these things is like the exact same description. Naked, human body, white hair, pig face.
Big fat pig face.
Big fat pig face. All right, give me the next
Sexy.
slide, B.
Sexy
And
big
then
face.
This
okay?
next, this is the last one that I have. a high school couple went down to Devil's Washbowl to make out. I don't know why you'd want to make out in that scary area, but whatever. And all was well until the boy stepped out of the car to take a piss. He was like, hold on, I gotta pee. Something grabbed him and smashed him around and ended up slamming him against the side of his car. His girlfriend sat inside this car, hearing and feeling the entire car move around with every blow to the car that the pig was giving him. And this was the first attack ever of the pigman. The boy did survive to tell his tale, and he said that the pigman stood about 5'8" to 5'10", and his body was completely covered in white hair, and his face was, of course, unmistakably a pig's. And it had, instead of hands, it had like claws or nails on it. And the man then rose his shirt to reveal these 2 giant gashes in his chest that the pigman had given to him.
Yikes. So for sure, I did read that the Beans pig farm was a hot spot for the high schoolers to go park.
It was right outside Devil's Washbowl.
Yes,
I have
of course, on Devil's
theory.
Washbowl. And I think it's we keep hearing though, it's because it's a scary thing. It's a scary tale. You bring the lady out there. Obviously, you only park for a few reasons, right? You're not just
Don't worry, I'll protect you.
We're not just playing Fun War here, right? You want to tell a scary story.
I mean, you might be.
What was that? What was that? And she's like, hug me.
Does that actually work? Like, I've always wondered. Like, let me take you to a place that's super dangerous. Like, let me take you to South Compton, and just don't worry, it's okay.
No, yeah, you got to go to a mythical place.
Yeah,
no,
not
ladies like
Compton.
danger, though.
You got
Someone
bulletproof
took
vest.
me.
Yes.
Someone took me out to the middle of nowhere once, and I was uncomfortable. And then a random car pulled up and was like, "What are you doing on this land?" So, like, yeah, that didn't work for me. That was the most uncomfortable I've ever been in my life. I wanted nothing more than to leave.
Yeah, like when I was in high school, I was at a party, and this girl who was a senior was like, "You don't look like you're comfortable here," and I was like, "I'm not. I hate people." She's like, "Well, let's go drive around." So we drove around, and we ended up like in the middle of fucking nowhere. And she's like, "So what do you want to do?" And I was like,
Touch
"Do you
your
like
butthole.
weed?"
Oh.
And we just smoked weed, and I was just like, "Okay, cool. I kind of want to go back because
I gotta
I don't know where I'm at."
I've got laundry to do. I think that does work on plenty of females. I think a lot of people are afraid.
So I drove this chick to Haiti.
It wouldn't
Yeah,
it wouldn't work on
Jamaica.
it
Worth
would
it.
not it would not work on me because I would straight up hop out the car and be like, let's check it out. Like,
But yeah,
but
I think that
other
but
people
what you're suggesting there is kind of what I was like. These are the kind of things that, like, okay, teenagers want to get laid or make out or whatever. Like, that's contributes to these kind of stories, right?
Yeah.
Like, we need to get a lady in a I don't want to use the word vulnerable because that sounds creepy, but you know what I mean? Like, in a situation that's kind of mysterious and dangerous, and I'll protect you, and don't worry, we're going to go on an adventure kind of thing.
To show off your
And
man.
next thing you know, you're getting attacked by an actual pig man, or at least
Literally.
reporting it
That's what he
back,
gets,
and then
though.
that
He was
legend
just
snowballs from
great.
there.
Yeah.
he was yeeted by the
Yeeted.
pig man.
Yeah.
Straight yeeted. He was like, yeet. He was like, on the
Yeet,
hood of the car. Yeah,
motherfucker.
no. What a dummy. What a dummy. But I'm sure back in the day, for sure, people would be like, oh, where are we, Timothy?
Oh,
my
what's
God.
going
on?
It's
I
She's
just
wearing a
heard
low-cut
that.
shirt. She's like, oh.
So what?
Dad, are you going to protect me? Maybe we'll do a threesome instead. I don't know.
My dad's
gonna
the
clip
pastor.
that.
Look, here's the thing. You guys assigned me evidence. Spoiler alert, there's really not much hard evidence other than everything we've just talked
Okay.
about. Like you said, we got
Exactly.
our teenager at the the makeout part of town attacks. One of the guys, what was his name?
Jeff.
Latch. Jeff
Jeff
Latch.
Hatch.
Hatch. There's an interview with him. He's one of the guys from the high school party that still, explains it. But ultimately, this is really a lot of eyewitness accounts. However, I did find. Hold on. Hold on. Where is it?
Timothy Chalamet.
I spelled his
This
last name
one-
wrong. Timothy Chalamet, who is my pretend lover. You
He's
may
with Kylie
recognize
Jenner
him.
now.
No, he's not.
He is.
Unconfirmed.
He's not. He didn't go to the Met Gala.
She does not deserve him.
Bree, will you put
I
that
just
video?
I just put a
in the
link
private?
in the private chat. This is all like this is just YouTube garbage clickbait nonsense, but we might as well take a look at it.
We
And this
love
is a
that.
pigman. This is a roadside pigman sighting in New
Oh.
York.
My God, did I watch this today? I fucking did.
This one?
Yeah, straight up. And I rewinded it again and I was like, that's some weird shit.
Yeah, it is kind of creepy. You got to look at they're coming up on a bridge. Look in the top left of the bridge.
It's a little bit long. I think I should fast forward.
Yeah. Fast
Because
forward a
at
little
least I know. So this creepy fucking listen, you never just go on a road that's a one way. It creeps me out. When you turn the corner, you're supposed to honk. For people that don't know, you don't just turn the corner. You
No.
honk.
Live life at the danger.
All right. I'm going to
Secret
show people
look.
where to look because I have seen this before.
That's better.
It looks like one of the Rick Moranis ghouls from Ghostbusters, the Keymaster.
I am the gatekeeper.
I'm the keeper.
I am your mother.
You want to rewind it one more time?
No, it's going to go back. And I
It's
think
gonna
that's
play
a
it back?
better. When it turns around, I think it's a better view of whatever he's saying.
For real.
Go away.
That's exactly
Don't
what I was
go
going to
away.
do. The
Oh, these people are ruining it.
Oh my
I'm
god!
just gonna pause it because it's right there.
Right
Mm.
there.
I mean, that is such like that's a dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a dude.
That's a hoax. Joe 5D, gay.
Yeah.
I think the first shot was creepier, but the second one was definitely. But
It's the
anyway.
same
I mean, the
person.
point is, there's not much out there. It's all eyewitness accounts. It's all local legend, which will play a factor in my factor sci-fi, but we'll get into that.
Well, I don't think a lot of like real things are truly caught on camera. I mean, we have our secret serious science show
Good job.
every other week, and before it was every day. And
Thursday.
obviously we
Yep.
believe yes. Well, for a while, yes. And
Sorry.
And what was I saying? Yeah, we obviously believe in UFOs, but you don't get a lot of good footage. So that's
Yeah. Of a lot of
That's
things.
life.
food for
So
your
weird.
not for your food.
All right, what's next?
Speaking of which.
Oh, it's
Oh.
Ooh.
Tony looks so good in that uniform. We're gonna have to buy you one.
I
Oh,
know,
first of
right?
all, I look so.
Tony, your head's
much-
really big in this uniform.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
You look
I
like
saw
a,
this. In
you
I
look
saw
like
this.
the
And,
bobblehead version of Tony.
I saw this, and I said, "Who the fuck?"
But it
At
looks
first,
so
I saw
good.
like the little thumbnail, and I was like, "How the fuck did they find a picture of me in uniform?" And then I saw it was like a fake ass game warden uniform.
Yeah.
Wait, you
like
have-
literally
you
a
have
Game
that
Warden
outfit?
uniform.
No, I have like real military shit.
No,
but-
he does have that.
Mm.
He just actually ordered it off of Amazon because Danielle was like, "I'm gonna need to see you
In
in your
this.
actual
yeah.
game warden suit."
That's
I
why you
think
should walk around
after-
contact in.
I
That's
think
a really
after
weird
Bobby's
role
cryptid
play.
corner, she's like, "Game warden, are you
She's like,
ready?
Yeah.
Who's been stealing
he's
picnic
like,
baskets?
Who's the bear?" She's like, "I'm not the bear." He's like, "Who's the bear?"
Tony, can you confirm?
Sorry, Danielle. Sorry.
Sorry.
I almost took it too far.
Who's been a bad little yogi?
Who's been a bad who's gonna tame this mountain lion?
Get in the cage. Get in the
No.
cage.
Anyone that knows Tony, you have to be a black bear. Who's been a bad little black bear?
Just like eating pies in baskets.
Oh my god, you get like a little bearskin rug you have on the bed, a little like
This
blanket.
is-
But then he's like, "You piece of shit bear, I fucking hate you." And she's like, "It's too far, too far."
This sounds like Bree's Freudian shit's
Wild
coming in now.
fantasy. Yeah.
projecting onto Tony's fantasies.
Yeah.
Or real
Shit,
kinks.
that's funny.
All right, Tony, tell us about your game warden explanations.
Okay, so I have two explanations. Either one, it is a crazy person wearing a pig's head, which is totally plausible. With everything with the Sam Harrison story, like he disappeared and then the pig man showed up. Who's not to say that in the 1950s that he had some kind of mental illness where he just like snapped and just went crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Show.
My other earthly explanation is that there is a university called the Norwich University,
Mm-hmm.
which has been in that area in our Northfield for over 200 years, and it is a military academy with
shit.
a bioscience and
I didn't know that.
oh yeah, yep, I found this out. They have a biology and a bioscience program where they work with like gene splicing and shit, and they've been doing it for a while.
Damn.
Oh.
And to kind of make this seem a little more fucked up, they were one of the first universities around the time when this started to include women going to a university as well as being a military university.
That is fucked up.
So
Wait, why
They're-
is that relevant? What the
well,
Who let these gals in here?
These ladies.
the reason it could be relevant is because you could have some person who is maybe not willing to accept
Smart.
women into higher education and freak out about it, because we see it for a lot of different things. People freak out for a lot of stupid fucking reasons and lash out in a lot of stupid ways. But you also have a town that has a university that has a biology department that could be experimenting on things that we don't know. Maybe they're experimenting on things they shouldn't be.
Are you suggesting that the people didn't want women in higher education, so they like made pig chimeras out of them?
I mean,
Or the women were there,
Probably.
so they used their uteruses to birth
Mm.
weird things.
Yeah.
Ew.
Mm-hmm. They used the eggs and extracted them. They forced them down. That's the only reason they let the women there. They were like, "Oh,
Very
we'll drug them.
Fauci-esque.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
drug them at dinner time, and then at night we'll steal their eggs."
I mean, if we look at the programs that had happened, it's not a far stretch to say. If you look at MK Ultra and
I know you're the Stranger Things one. What is it?
the Montauk,
Montauk and yeah.
yeah,
No, I think
the
MK Ultra
Tuskegee
was that.
experiments, and
Even when Stalin tried to make like super ape man soldiers.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
and this is one of the oldest military colleges.
Or when they released a virus on the population in 2020, that was fucked up.
It was crazy. It was wild.
Don't forget about the fake alien abductions. Oh,
Yeah,
What?
there's all kinds of crazy shit.
Oh yeah.
So I'm not going to rule out that there was a secret government experiment that was probably played
Never.
across many laboratories, because we know that NASA will give all of their laboratories the same problem and not tell them when somebody else has figured out the answer and just waste fucking millions of dollars of taxpayer money. So who's to say that, they're not doing that? They're not trying to figure out what super soldiers they can make. And, we have a scary genetic resemblance to pigs than we do.
Tony,
Hey.
I'm not gonna lie, I was a hard sci-fi on this, but I am listening right now.
Yeah, my ears are perked.
So, it's one of the things, I looked at it, I really dug into it. I looked into the city and I was like, there's got to be something about the city, because I looked into it and I started seeing there's a lot of senators and congressmen and governors for states that are not this state. And I was like, wait a minute. Why are there so many governors and senators who
Vermont
went?
is an ideal state for something like this too, because it's such
Yes.
low population. It's desolate.
Quiet.
Hey,
It's
do we have to
almost
drink
irrelevant.
because you spelled it secret government experiment?
Yes.
Is that worthy of a drink?
Yeah,
Sex spelling.
Who did that?
Yeah.
Oh wow,
did
I just
that.
saw
Tons.
that.
Tons Malone's.
Tony
Yeah, I
rules.
was deep down the rabbit hole when I spelt that.
Yeah.
And I was looking at it and I was like, why are there governors and senators from like Wisconsin and shit that are notable citizens of this town in Vermont? And then I was like, oh, because there's a military academy.
Do you think that governors or senators, do you think that level gets involved in these like need to know like high level experiments though?
Oh.
I think once they become
Drink
a
again.
governor or senator, yep, do it.
I think that those people are manipulated for the sake of
Bobby, you
funding,
too.
but they're not
was spelled
necessarily like in the know about everything. Anyway,
No, and I don't think they all are, but I think it's
Yeah.
suspicious that we have this university that is over 200 years old that I never heard about. So this university actually started the ROTC program.
how close is it to this particular part of Vermont?
It's in the exact same town.
It's Northfield, that
Whoa.
tiny town.
Whoa.
And
They
it's like
started the
2/3 of the
ROTC
population.
program. Can you say that
Yes.
again, Tony?
So-
they started the ROTC
They
program.
started the ROTC program. There is only one university. There's only one military university older than it, and it is not West Point. So this is older than West Point. And I think the other university is in like Boston or something, but there's so much history behind this. Like I was deep diving into this for 2 hours and reading all of their history. And
I can tell by this thorough slide that you made.
So detailed.
Well, did you find anything about like is there like a
I'm hiding this
biological
right
or
now.
like genetics program or something
back.
at this
they
university?
they have biogenics and
Nope, you cracked the case. You cracked the case, Tony. This is the first on Bobby's Cryptid Corner.
I am kind of
think you solved
shocked.
it.
I had no idea it had that type of military background. I did know about the school. And what's so funny is it kept popping out to me in the research. I was like, I don't care about the university. But
Well,
the
that-
military involvement of the university and
Once
the
I
fact
saw
it
that-
started all of those things. You can only
Mhm.
imagine that the university and the military involvement that started a bunch of different military programs that you go through.
Mhm.
There's someone behind that, and it's someone with a smarter, deeper look into what they want to do involving military. So, I mean, we might
Yeah,
be
and-
making like huge jumps to conclusions here. I'm not gonna,
no, yeah, we
deny
could
that.
be absolutely.
But
And would
it's
you say,
open,
Tony, that, like,
interesting.
like universities, especially public ones with some sort of military affiliation, is like a major recruiting ground for like military intelligence and stuff like that as well, or military science.
Yes, and I'm glad you brought that up because the NSA gave that college several awards for the work that they do in national defense and bringing up cadets. It like when I started going into this, I was like, I knew nothing about it, and I started looking into it, and I was like, holy shit!
Now, are you drawing these connections, or in your research was someone else drawing these connections to the Pigman at all?
Initially, I was like, why would there be like a Pigman? What I first did was like, where did the Montauk monster come up? Because like I'm trying to find an explanation for this. I was like, well, maybe there's like military things or like it's a psychopath wearing a pig mask and running around trying to slash people. And then I found all of these national laboratories. There's so many in Vermont.
So did you find them?
Yes,
I think
I looked
Bobby's asking. No, I think Bobby's asking.
No, I'm
did you
asking,
stumble upon someone else?
Are you independently making
researching
these
this.
connections, or was someone else making similar claims?
No, I'm
that's interesting too. Like,
I'm independently.
Even if you want to go down like the deranged serial killer route, there's a lot of connections to intelligence with those people too. So, like, even if it's not a hybrid pigman, it could be some sort of like human experiment to create some sort of psychopath that will like roam the countryside wearing a pig's head and murdering people. Why not?
Heard it here, man.
Just
you have heard it here first on Bobby's Cryptid Corner. The connection of the military,
just northwest of
in the Pigman
of Norwich University is a laboratory that deals with protein research. And literally 5 miles away from them is another laboratory that deals with engineering and biochemical engineering. Like, there's so many. Like, I was looking at it, I was like, why are there so many engineering places here? Like, why are there so many biochemical places here? And why is this smack dab in the middle of it? And at the center is this military university that has a strong science program for chemistry and bioengineering and shit like that.
That's
wild. I smell the first Bobby's Cryptid Corner documentary. We need to go
this is one.
Yeah,
we need to go
interviewing.
We need to go to Vermont and be shot.
Yeah.
No, you're Tony. You won't get shot.
All right, Bree. What was next on the slide, love?
Can we trademark that in some way, shape, or form? Is that a thing? We're like we trademarked this research.
This research.
I mean,
I thought you were going to trademark getting shot. I don't think we can do that.
So this is a few other things. This is funny. Now this makes perfect sense. This is a couple more things in Vermont that we should investigate. They have a water cryptid. They have a couple other things. The awful, known to have like crazy fucking bat wing things, could possibly be like maybe a bat squatch or maybe another Mothman. We have the Willie, the water cryptid, and the one that we just did here. So there are other things in Vermont that we should investigate that could possibly now lead
and this is
to a military education system.
This is a hub of Bigfoot activity in this part of the country. And I think Hawkzilla just asked about major UFO science. I mean, it can't be that far from the Hudson Valley in New York. Like,
oh no, there's
if you look at it on scale, like I would imagine that all that kind of crazy shit, like New England's fucking crazy, man.
For real.
I don't know. What's the awful?
A whole area.
Like that. I'm actually really shocked, Tony. You really surprised me tonight in a very good way. We have more to do. Thank you for
that's never happened, Tony.
Groundbreaking research. No, this could actually be like this could like be a fucking book. People that dedicate their lives to this could be like listening and like, and then again, someone will get famous and popular off of something that we started. Story of our lives.
Story of our lives.
Someone else, not us. Somebody else.
Never us, but someone else.
Mm-hmm. All right.
right.
I'll start first since I'm up on the top corner. I'm going to go ahead and fact this one. I think that there is something in that area scaring people, and I am now leaning towards the idea of it being a genetically modified government experiment escaped. That's why it's like naked and has hair on it. And I saw someone earlier said that pigs don't have hair on them. Yes, they do.
Nope.
They have
They
white
do.
hair. Like literally white hair, like white, clear.
It's like peach fuzz.
It's like peach fuzz, but it's 100%
there's
there.
certain pig, especially wild
yeah,
pigs.
yeah, you're right. It depends on the species. If you're
Mhm.
thinking
Depends
of the
on what
cute little
side
pink
of the fence
ones.
they are on.
Yeah, so I'm gonna hard fact this one. No, I'm gonna give this one 8. I'm gonna give it an 8. That's my number. Bree?
An 8.
This is leaning towards fact for sure for me. You can give that a fact.
Damn.
I wasn't thinking towards a government hybrid. I was thinking more like this could be a thing. I was gonna middle bitch towards sci-fi-ish, but still middle bitch, and then Tony put me over the edge.
It's a big jump.
And now this is where I am. I'm shocked. I'm freaked out, actually, because that's one thing I always believe is government. Like, you can get into lore. Like, obviously, I believe lore. But then if government ever, like, gets their toe involved, I'm like, you sketchy motherfucker.
Sketchy
you
motherfuckers.
are to blame.
All right, Tony, what about you?
You know, I went into this and I started looking at the lore first, and I was like, that's why I texted y'all, and I was like, oh, what the fuck? Like, I don't know what I'm going to do about this. And Jamie was like, it's not bears, is it? I was like, no,
I did.
It's not bears. And then I got down this rabbit hole about this college being there and what they do and stuff, and I was like, oh, shit. So I didn't develop the concept on my own, but I just looked at everything and I said, what if it's either a crazy dude wearing a pig's head, which is totally feasible, or a government experiment from these labs that got out? So I'm going to have to give it like a 9.
Yes. All right. Bibi?
Are we all going to blow our load on this episode? All right,
think
let's
we
get
are.
it.
Well,
Are we
I hate to bring the party down.
Oh, no.
Prior to Tony,
give me a softie. Come on.
Right. Prior to Tony's wonderful research, I was putting this guy around a 2, maybe 3. I wanted to leave some room for the Holy Ghost, and I wanted to leave some room for
You fucking weirdo.
Jesus.
And I wanted to leave some room for, cave creatures or
cave creatures too.
Hybrid beings, or even if it was a deranged lunatic with a pig head on, I would still count that as fact. But in this case, I was just leaving room for that but there's too much ingredients for an urban legend gone out of whack. That's why I was leaning towards sci-fi, but Tony pushed me to a hard 5 middle bitch with his government.
That's not bad.
University
That's not
experience.
bad. Okay.
So
I guess it's like a solid 7 on this one collectively, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason is because I started where I did preemptively. Otherwise, I'd probably be closer to you guys.
I love it.
I'm disappointed in that. I
think I should start at middle bitch at the beginning of every episode.
Every episode, then work your way which way it goes. Yeah.
No, a lot of us I feel like a lot of us start as a no. We have to like research our way into a yes, and then it helps when other people get different, perspectives of research that we haven't dived into, and then we hear it from you guys. Then we're like, oh,
that'd be interesting if we could, prior to research, just based on the name alone, decide where you land
We
on
should
it.
do
and
a
then see where we
pre-
land on
Yeah,
at the end.
pre and after. I love that. We'll do that next
But
episode.
no research. You can't do any research at all. You just have to hear what it is.
Oh, a
Ooh,
pre-guess just
yeah.
by
All
the
right,
name.
Bibby, do you have a movie recommendation for
yeah.
Oh,
us?
wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Ooh.
You guys
Ooh.
might have also come across an American Horror Story. If you are an American Horror
Oh.
Story fan, as am I, they're filming right now. I'm so excited. Murder House, which is the very first season, in my opinion, probably the best season other than Circus. I love Circus.
No,
so
I
the
like
sixth-
the
Coven.
Insane Asylum.
Really?
Yeah.
You like
best season is the
Asylum.
first one.
Asylum was the one I actually couldn't handle. I had to turn
Really?
off because it was
Mm.
so triggering for me. They're in the mental hospital and tied up and things happening to them, and I was like, I can't. I turned it off probably like 5 times. It took me a couple years to finish that whole season,
Damn.
which is
Really?
funny because at the
There's
end
aliens.
there's aliens, but not until the end.
Yeah, but they have this stupid
whole
song.
thing
Bibi,
is
Fanny, Fo Fanny,
yeah.
Bee-Bye, Bo Fanny.
Yeah, that's the only good part of it. Like the only happy part. The whole rest of the season is nothing but like, I don't like that shit.
That
Anyway,
was good. Roanoke was good too.
So yes, Pigman, the traditional theory that the Pigman could be the butcher, and now he cuts off the head and he wears, just the head. That is in the very first season, in the 6th episode. Now, when we get to the 6th season in Roanoke, we see him reappear. But in this case, he is more of the feral, living in the pig man's symbol, like the whole symbol of what the pig man could be. He's like living in it. It's got like a real head on him. So there's 2 different versions of the pig man here. I love that they did this in American Horror Story and that it's the 6th episode in the 6th season. Who knows if he will pop up again for another 6. Then we will hit the solid 666. Just a little bit of weirdness, factual things for you guys that I came across today. I was quite surprised at. But I do love that he's portrayed in one of his many possible forms.
Ooh, love it.
In a TV film. It's pretty great.
Bibby.
Who wants to hit the button?
Oh, I
Well,
will.
you've already spoiled it.
Wait, I
Go
know.
ahead.
I'm sorry.
I just love it. I'm sorry. We'll have to redo that one. I love that Jamie did it. I do it every time.
My recommendation for this week comes from 1980, starring everyone's grandma's favorite Western actor Rory Calhoun, called Motel Hell. And the premise is a weird, creepy, kind of backwoodsy guy and his weird, creepy sister basically run a hotel, and they kidnap the guests and bury them in the garden until they get nice and tender and keep them alive, and then they butcher them and sell them as their special meat to guests. And it's incredibly insane in a really fun way. It's one of the movies that really made me who I am today, because I saw it at a way too young of an age, and that just struck a chord with my psyche and made me the weird person I am talking to you now. So the reason I chose this one is obviously there is a more or less almost like a fencing scene, or like a battle, like a sword battle at the end, where the main guy puts on a pig head with a chainsaw and then battles against the local town cop in the slaughterhouse.
That's badass.
It's fucking awesome. So I recommend Motel Hell this week on Bobby's movie recommendations.
All up in here. There is a lot, surprisingly, of piggy movies.
Yeah,
shocked.
there are. You know what I want to watch? I want to watch that fucking Winnie the Pooh horror movie.
There's a Winnie the Pooh horror movie.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Who would do that to little Pooh? Did he shit himself
America.
unexpectedly?
I can't remember what it's called, but I'll figure out what it's called and I'll let Bobby know because we'll probably watch it. You guys won't.
All right, do you guys have any final
let me,
thoughts of the night?
I
Sorry, Bobby.
share this in the chat real quick. Quick plug. My friend actually, I don't know if it's available yet. He's like doing the rounds of like festivals and stuff, film festivals. But my friend directed a movie called Butcher's Bluff that is about it's a slasher.
Ooh.
Man,
Oh,
so-
shit. I don't know you had a friend that does those kind of
Yeah,
things. That's
I need
awesome.
hookups like that.
Yeah, so check out the trailer. I just put it in the chat, and it's supposed to be really good. I haven't had a chance to see it yet because it's like kind of limited right now, but I'll keep you guys posted when it becomes available.
Awesome. Thank you, mate.
Thank you. Put it in the private chat too, please.
Because I don't see it.
I don't
on our
see
end.
it. Yeah.
I don't think it
Not
showed
yet.
up. Hold on.
Oof, that's awesome.
Is it there?
I'll go
it's
last.
there.
I got a very special thing to say.
Oh, say it
Ooh.
now. We're quiet.
Oh no, I meant for it to be last.
Oh, last. Okay.
Yeah.
I
I don't have
thought this
anything
was a great
final to say.
episode, and that was it.
Yeah. Check out my other show is Not For Everyone podcast. We're about to drop an episode on Alejandro Jodorowsky's Santa Sangre. I released a bonus episode a couple weeks ago where I just call my co-host when he's like just alone, home alone unexpectedly on a Friday, and I read him articles about ABC's TGIF, and he gets really, really upset.
That's actually hilarious, and I love it.
It's pretty fun. Not For Everyone podcast. It's not for everyone. So if you go in and you're offended, like, I don't care, but
It's your own fault. Yeah. We have a show on Thursday. We have Super Serious Science Show. And then on Friday for Cinco de Mayo, we have a rewind that will be playing. So you guys enjoy that because there happens to be like a very suspicious lack of shows on Friday and Saturday nights.
It's weird.
Like the Paranormal
Really?
Chop
People generally
Shop
like
and
the-
Chad Smith are just missing and just literally have fallen off the face of the earth. Yeah.
Really, they're missing?
Yeah. Literally.
I didn't know that.
For weeks now. Yeah.
Oh shit! I
Yeah,
had no
literally.
idea. That's
Mhm.
fucking crazy.
I know.
Okay.
All right, Tony, what's your last thing before I push the button?
Last thing I have to say before I push the button is we love all of you. And if you are listening to us on the listening web, or you're watching us live on YouTube, or you're watching us not live on YouTube, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you share our content. Twitter,
Aw.
apparently, if you watch us on Twitter and you watch the whole show on Twitter, the way the algorithm now works is our content will be promoted. The longer you watch, the more it is promoted per Elon Musk. So watch us on the best place you can watch us, like us, give us comments, tell us how much you don't like us or like us. I don't care. Follow me on BOTT Water on Twitter, or don't. Yell at me. I don't care. Just, interact
All
with
right.
them.
I
All right.
love
Love you
that.
all. Goodbye.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Wait,
Please.
bye.
Everyone
Bye.
do the same.
Bye.
We love
Bye.
you.
Bye,
We
everyone.
love you.